Welcome to Up at Noon. Lauren Lanning is here to tell me about creating the Oddworld franchise and bringing it to PlayStation platforms. Is Oddworld new and tasty? But first, Stan Lee wants to be in Batman vs. Superman. What's old is new again in movies, and there's so much more. This is the news you care about. Producer Nick Scarpino.
Hello.
My Italian meatball Brian Altano. The news you care about. Up first, we finally got our first look at the Avengers Age of Ultron, which then shows Ultron. He's a robot. Let's see him up on the screen here. Put him up. Got him coming. There he is.
That's high. I mean, I think my big commentary for this is I love Ultron. It looks a lot like I would imagine an Ultron in a movie to look like.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, they didn't depart too far from what Ultron sort of looks like.
Sure,
right?
sure,
they have
sure.
little horns. He looks like kind of a bug-eyed robot, which
Right.
is more the classical sort of interpretation of him. Why do they continually do those horrible Photoshop jobs with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans?
Well, it's because spoilers. The whole movie is fake. They're not in. They're not in an actual Iron Man suit for publicity like this. It doesn't work.
I know.
You know, that's not
I think the most unrealistic thing about that picture is that they still make magazines. Hi, it's a moving picture show. Watch it. What's a magazine?
The other cool thing about this, though, is that we did get to see some extra images from the actual
Sure.
movie.
So here we go. We got to put it up. This is Hemsworth's Watch 2014. How does Thor look this time
He
around?
looks spectacular.
Now, don't lie. You've been getting on this Hemsworth guy's case. His arms keep getting smaller. They look like little pieces of rope in this.
So for everyone that so for everyone that knows or cares or is like me, Hemsworth, his first breakout role was Thor, right? We all remember him from a little movie called Star Trek. He was the captain that dies in the first 8 minutes of the movie, which is amazing, and I cry every time I watch it. But he really didn't break out till Thor, and so he did what any good man would do, myself included, if you had that big movie chance to break out, is he got yoked for that movie. Like the kind of yoke where like the costume director's like, if you get any bigger, we're gonna have to fly your costume in from China. Like this is not gonna work.
In other Age of Ultron news, Stan Lee has talked about he filmed his cameo for this movie. He's continuing to do that, but he joked about getting a Batman vs. Superman cameo, and that if they did that, the money would roll into DC because, quote, they, being the audience would have to go to the theater to see it. They wouldn't believe it. Can we talk about how amazing that would be?
That would be incredible.
As a DC fanboy, I'm telling you right now, Warner Brothers, yes, get Stan Lee to have a stupid cameo. It can be like on par with Ron Jeremy's Ghostbusters cameo, where it's just in a crowd scene like flipping out. That's all you need. I just want to know he's there.
I think it's an awesome idea. Although he's sort of borderline annoying grandpa now. Where he's like, hey, can you put me in everything? And they're like, oh, we have to because you invented the comic industry.
He doesn't ask. He doesn't walk up to these
totally
people
does.
and do this.
He's been outwardly spoken about how he thinks it's a great kind of silly thing that they keep putting in these movies, and he doesn't quite think that it's 100% necessary. But
sure.
I mean, obviously the joke is that people are going to see any DC movie for the next 10 years until they continue to drive those franchises into the ground.
Well, no, let's get them out of the ground.
You're right.
Green Lantern? DC is not where Marvel is when it comes to movies.
No, I know. It's sad, but they're going to get there, and I have a really good feeling about Batman vs. Superman.
I do too, but every time they announce another cameo in it, I'm like, please stop.
Stan Lee would be a cameo.
I hope he's Aquaman.
Wonder Woman and all these different things are not cameos. Cyborg.
If he's Aquaman, it'd be amazing. He's just in this old senior citizens pool, and he's like, I'm Aquaman.
It's just like...
That's the whole scene.
Is this the prequel to the new Cocoon when they reboot that?
And he just farts, he's like, brrr, and then they tell him to leave.
Was that me or the baby? I don't know.
Speaking of being old,
right.
A second ago I mentioned Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is coming back to theaters. 30th anniversary.
Love it.
In 4K. It'll run for 1 week starting on August 29th. The question is, ladies and gentlemen, is this what Hollywood should do? Just take old movies and put them back out?
Hollywood right now, I mean, they are struggling to figure out what the next big thing in movies is going to be, right? And we talk about this all the time, is on-demand going to kill Hollywood, right? You have movies like Snowpiercer that just came out. It was in theaters for like 3 days, and then all of a sudden it popped up on my on-demand. Yeah. And of course I watched it because I'm lazy and I love my couch.
I did too. You know what was great about that? I took a shit in the middle of that movie. I paused that movie. I could never do that in the theater. Like, hey, can you please? I have to take a shit.
Everybody, hold on. Everybody, just remember where we were.
6 coffees this morning. Yeah.
Can we get a majority rule on this? Everyone raise your hand if you're all right to stop it.
Does anyone else need to shit? No?
This was the thing with I wanted to see Planet of the Apes this weekend,
Yep.
but I wasn't actually going to go to the theater.
I wish it were a thing. I want it to be a thing. I would love to go see all those classic movies that I loved when I was a kid on the big screen again, so I could actually see what the hell's going on.
Right.
So when I was a kid, they were just like cool Muppets and some cool effects that I never even realized before. Having said that, I'll be the first in line to go see Ghostbusters when it comes out.
I doubt it. I'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Will you? Will you actually get off the couch, stop playing Minecraft for 5 seconds, and go?
I was thinking about trying to do it every night that it's out. Go see it.
That would be amazing.
Really?
That'd be a cool thing to do,
Wow.
I thought. But I think it also is happening during PAX, which complicates things immensely. But if you're at PAX and you want to go see Ghostbusters with me, there we go.
There you go.
And yeah, like my big thing with it, right, is like I would have gone and seen RoboCop the original on a big screen rather than this rebooted RoboCop.
I'm totally with you on that because I feel like what's in theaters right now? Fucking Transformers, Planet of the Apes, 80 other things from 55 years ago.
Sure.
Like, just if you're gonna do that, just put out the original movie, and then we can watch it, and then people can be like, "Oh, I'm going to see Ghostbusters."
Yeah, right.
Do you imagine they put RoboCop out without not even saying it was the old movie, just marketed it like it was a brand new film?
Yeah.
Peter Weller stars as RoboCop.
Because people will be like,
I've never heard of it before. It's amazing. This
People will be like, "Oh man, I heard it's really f***ed up in Detroit right now." So this is like still 56 people got shot on 4th of July. So yeah, every time someone gets shot in Detroit, they should just put RoboCop in theaters.
Or they play the.
That's a weird eulogy.
That would be on forever. It would be eternity of RoboCop.
Hey, honey, I'm sorry your brother was killed getting milk the other day, but as a consolation, we put RoboCop in theaters again.
Final one this week is Smash Brothers. Brian, you're a big Smash Brothers fan.
I am. I love
announced
Smash Brothers.
more characters. Captain Falcon, Lucina, Robin from Fire Emblem. That's over 30 playable characters currently announced.
Yeah.
With more to come.
Yeah, I think they announced there's going to be 700,000 characters.
When is enough, Brian? You're the biggest Nintendo fan on the panel.
So I think this is too much, right? I think I would rather have 20 perfect things than 60 things that are not that great.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like I have a bunch
saying.
of close friends and like a bunch of people who are like, oh, numbers on my phone. Acquaintances.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about them?
Nobody.
So most of the people in this game, they're going to be my acquaintances.
Right.
Like, who's that guy's name?
Which one? Robin?
No, Robin.
Lucina?
I don't know who the f*** Robin is.
Falcon?
Captain Falcon I know, but who the f*** is Lucinda? Just give me everyone in Mario Kart minus the Koopa Kids.
You just need Pit and Kirby. That's all you need.
Okay, fine. No,
Here's my thing about Nintendo that I don't get is they're so good at like every day, every week leading up to the big launch of something. They announce a new character or a new thing or a new whatever. And then right when the game's out, it's like, that's it. That's all we get for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And I just wish that they would hold half of that, even if they're only going to roll out like 40 characters.
Yeah.
Just hold half of them. So I have something to look forward to in life for the next 17 years until the next Smash Brothers comes out.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, no, you're right, because I miss that in the old Smash Brothers games where you're playing it and you would unlock something and you'd be like, oh shit, I don't even know this was a thing.
Yeah.
And now you know everything before you even go in. So like, what's even the point?
I don't know. I want playable Brian Altano character.
You can do that. You can do that now.
I know.
One woo.
One word.
No one's gonna play as Brian.
It's a sad day.
It's a sad day.
When Brian Altano can only get one woo.
I know.
Can we get the man another woo for crying out loud? Thanks, guys.
I'm playing as all of you now.
I don't know what that means. Speaking of woos, Greg Way, my next... Ow! That's the first time it's ever hit me back. My next guest gets woos all the time because he created Oddworld. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lauren Lanning. These guys are animals.
All right. Hey, guys.
Okay. Lauren, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, are you kidding? It's great to be here.
Oddworld.
Yeah.
You've been doing the Oddworld a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of dating me, huh?
Yeah. When you started
you were about 5. Yeah.
When you started it in the 90s, did you expect
In the 90s.
that to be the rest of your life?
You know, I actually, I was in, to some degree, yes.
Yeah.
To more of a magnitude than it actually was. Because I was looking at creating properties the way like Jim Henson was, the way Walt Disney did, the way Hanna-Barbera did. It was like the way Dr. Seuss did. It was like you create things that you love, and then you're as an artist, you're not creating them because you want an acquisition path or you want to sell it as a big IP somewhere. You're creating it because you want to nurture it, right? So historically, through media, we see this.
Yeah.
But somehow that disappeared in games,
Right.
in the last 20 years. But and it wasn't long enough. Games weren't around long enough to really see that anyway.
Yeah.
But those were my idols. And so I did create them with the sort of things that interested me enough in the world that I thought they would keep us interested long enough that, you could eventually hit the grave and it's still going. But hopefully that's later than sooner.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on now, let's get this next one out. We'll worry about that part.
Yeah, exactly. But what I didn't expect was like the digital distributed landscape to reawaken old games.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that today people would still be buying, Abe's Odyssey that released in 1997.
Yeah.
And that was a complete surprise because games had become the disposable product, right?
Sure.
Like a movie you could find on a shelf from 50 years ago. And you're like, wow, this is a great classic.
Right.
Games weren't running that way, right? If it was on SNES, forget it. If you don't have a SNES, you can't buy one in 10 years,
Yeah.
And so like PSN supporting emulation for PlayStation 1 was like, whoa, just completely unexpected. And it was great because in many ways, it's what helped revitalize our brand. Because
did that change like your path, you feel, like when this happened? You're like,
yeah, because, it brought money. Right? So it changed a lot. But money, you were just talking to Destiny, right?
Yeah. They're next week's guest. They didn't get talked to yet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
Up and new next Monday, Destiny.
That. And we're talking games that are just costing hundreds of millions of dollars today, right? And, we don't. But, so, bigger dollars come with different terms. And as a creator who wanted to nurture brands through life and not just wanting to be an employee somewhere, that was becoming sort of incompatible with the business, really.
Sure.
Unless you had that mega success,
right.
Where, like Epic or somebody or even, Bungie. You just had such enormous success that then the red carpet's rolling out to you and you're getting the best deals and things like that.
So where do you peg Oddworld's success between mega success and like that failure MMO that was like 48 days?
Somewhere in the middle. My partner Sherry McKenna, she would say, you never measure your success enough to give yourself enough credit.
Yeah.
I remember Martha Graham, the sort of founder of modern dance, right? She goes, being an artist is that never-ending sort of suffering feeling that nothing you do is ever good enough.
Sure.
Right? And there's something about that. And any great art you've ever liked, someone felt that way making it. And I always felt that way, right? So I was always like, damn, when we released Munch's Odyssey, it was against Halo. Right?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it was like, oh, it was like, Jesus, what a great game. And then when we released Abe's Odyssey, it was against Final Fantasy VII. It was just like, God, trying to get that leg up and get that opportunity to get exposed has always been hard and challenging.
Yeah. So now, tell me about the new game.
So new and tasty. We're unique in that we're always just trying to figure out, like, how do we take what we have and finance something new?
Right, because you've done the HD ones.
We did the HD. We were basically exhausting the library.
More power to you.
Well, thanks. But we were trying to do it in a really quality way.
Yeah.
So we're going, well, we can't afford to really build the new AAA IP, new characters, and new worlds that people would like to see our fan base is begging for.
Yeah.
But we can start revitalizing to find a way to stay independent. And if the audience likes what we're doing, and if we do it well, then maybe they'll support us.
Exactly.
But getting to new and tasty, we didn't really still, our feeling, my partner's feeling, my feeling, other parties involved, parties at Jaw, we were like, we just don't, the audience expectation for a new Oddworld product we feel is above the level of what we had to fund.
Sure.
However, a big part of that process, Oddworld's kind of always been innovative in odd, unique ways. We've always tried to be innovative in the way the character, the story, the mechanics are actually synergistically together at their DNA. And that takes a lot of time to figure out. That takes a lot of time in the experimentation of code, and that takes a lot of the budget. So the biggest part of the budget in my life has always been getting to the point where you build that new game that's actually playing with those new ideas that you actually wanted to create. And that was like really painful getting there. It always is. It's just because it hasn't been done before. So we were looking at all that and saying, well, what if we just took new technology and used that and kept the script the same? What if we remade Time Machine, but kept the script the same, but then redid it with 21st century technology.
Yeah.
And with the fans, they're like, you better not change this or that. And you're like, why do you want us to redo it? And you won't want us to change anything. It's like, what do you guys do? So
leave it exactly how I remembered, but make it look better, but don't change it.
Yeah, better not, death threats, whatever, right? I always laugh like Jack Thompson going, I'm getting death threats. You're like, it's an 11-year-old Jack. I really don't think you got big problems here. The game industry threatening you death threats. You should go on to Xbox Live. Everyone's getting threatened.
Your
every
mom
moment.
has been up to things.
Yeah. So we made the decision to try and do something where we actually redid it, but we kept the script the same.
Sure.
We embellished it, we added to it, but it's still largely the same narrative, but we redid all the cinematics. So, originally it was rendered at like half NTSC resolution at 15 frames per second, playing back a movie. Today it's all 1080p, 30 to 60. Gameplay's all 60. And we introduced physics. We did things, it was supposed to be a funny game. It was supposed to be like, okay, here's what you gotta do. You gotta rescue these guys. They're kind of pathetic and helpless, and the environment you got to rescue them in is just totally tragic and hostile, and it's just going to rip them up hilariously. It's funny stuff, So we're like, yeah, that'll be fun. And the other thing was like making you feel like you had these experiences more like you do with real wild animals. And I was lucky in my life. Like I spent a lot of time in the outdoors, growing up in New England. Favorite thing in life is fly fishing. You wind up in a lot of remote areas. Getting chased by wild animals is like really exciting, and or attacked, is really like I remember I got attacked.
This is so cool.
I have that faulty gene somehow where it actually is like I crashed a motorcycle and I was like, wow, that was the biggest rush ever, it hurts, I can't walk so well, but like, wow, time slowed down like 4x, this was amazing. And I remember when I was like in 3rd grade, I got attacked by this dog. It was a big German Shepherd, it was like right out of Hogan's Heroes, one of those brown and black, like terrifying looking German Shepherds. And it was in my garbage, and I'm just like, it was winter time. I got this big down jacket on. I'm like, out of my garbage, and the dog's like, what? And he just pounced on me, right? And he's ripping me. I had this big down jacket on. Feathers are flying everywhere, right? I'm on my back. This dog's tearing me up. He's getting my face. He's getting my nose. He's getting my hands. He's biting blood all over the place. Feathers all over the place. It looked like a fox killing a turkey or something, it's just hilarious. And I was like, it was really exciting, And I was like, so I always had a hard time measuring, like, what's the difference between, like death and being too close.
Where's the line?
And where's the line? And where's the line? And just things like, like encountering badgers. And you're too close to their nest, their den, and you're like, a buddy of mine, we got chased by a badger once. We're running down it's just, those are really exciting moments. Even the pain, like you get through them. So I was like, how do we capture those types of moments and experiences and make you feel like, if right now you brought in someone's off dog, right, that was big and scary, and brought it into this room and locked the door, and now that dog's like suspiciously looking at all of us, it really changes things, right? And you know that in that change, right, we can't talk to that dog really. The language is not going to work. So it's a whole other set of like intuitive body language, right? And we'll all be trying to figure out the dance really quickly. And that actually was what drove like paramites and scrabs and slogs was that feeling of like, I delivered papers as a kid. Yeah. And so dogs was like a mailman problem, right? Yeah. And you're like trudging through the snow and you're like, oh shit, this yard again. How am I gonna I need the
How do I deliver the paper without dying?
They're good tippers, but if I don't get it, and then so those encounters I thought were really interesting, human and non-human encounters that were questionably dangerous. Yeah. And so those experiences I think led me to really want to specialize in sort of AI thinking, which is more like artificial stupidity. Because we're still not emulating a single cell protozoa well yet, in the intelligence realm.
Tell me about it. That's what I'm always saying. When are we going to nail the protozoa?
So far behind the curve. Yeah. So it was those types of experiences that led to trying to how do we turn that into comedy? So
and now it is as Oddworld.
Now it is as Oddworld.
New and tasty. When does it come out?
Comes out July 22nd.
Lauren, thank you so much for coming by. You're one of my favorites.
Hey, excellent. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks to Lauren Lanning, Brian Altano, Nick Scarpino, and you, my audience! If you want to be in that very loud audience, go.ign.com/up-at-noon for details. As always, I'll be responding to comments the first hour this video is live, so come tell me the classic game you'd like to see come back on PlayStation. Me? Patapon. Make it happen, Shoo! We'll be back next Monday at noon with Destiny, but until then, I'm going back to bed.